Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Earth Awakening. Today, we welcome to the show Elana Feldman. She is an intergenerational wellness ambassador, intuitive guide, and soul connector who empowers people of all ages to move, connect, and thrive. With a heart for seniors, cancer patients, and diverse communities, Elena goes beyond exercise. Her work is about creating experiences that honor movement, resilience, and soulful living. She blends wellness with intuition, helping others find their place in the larger puzzle of life. Elena, welcome to the show.
You! Thank you so much for having me here. I feel so honored. I feel so blessed to be here with my sister. Yeah.
Woo! So that's already an amazing energy here. The party started.
Yes, let's get this party started.
So let us begin by you sharing a little bit about your journey and how it led you to the work you're doing today.
Yeah. So, thank you everybody for showing up and being here, and I hope this story resonates with you. So, I've always felt as a little girl that I was always different. Not different in a bad way. There's no good, right, wrong, or, there's no good, there's no bad, what it is. But I just always felt different. I always felt that I had a message. I always felt that I could understand people. I always intuitively would go up and hug people. And I feel like my purpose on earth is to show love. I was blessed with a lot of love growing up, but what I asked for in this journey was to show others how to love themselves so that they can give love to everybody else. And with that, this has helped me with my journey of who I am and who I want to explore and who I want to show up for.
Oh, that's really amazing. So let's go deeper into all the challenges that come when people are like open and kind and loving. There are people who are trained to recognize that and let's say do their thing. So you know exactly what I mean.
I definitely agree with that. I think growing up, it's been a struggle too because people, oh, she's so sensitive, or how do you know, or feeling everything. I think being an empath and a soul person, when you really can show up, you really feel. So it's also protecting yourself because you want to help, you want to show up, you want to be there for someone, and you feel so deeply that you feel what they're feeling. And so it's trying to see how you discern who you give that attention to, how you can show up, but show that people can love on themselves. And with that, it was hard because people were like, oh, she's too sensitive, or oh, you're this. But what it is I think people, it triggers them. I'm being that mirror. I'm showing up because they can be loved. They can show up that way, and they've never experienced that. So because they've never experienced that, they want to push away. "Oh, she loves me like unconditionally, and I don't want anything from them. I want to show up." So I think there's a trigger with that of allowing yourself to accept that love.
Exactly. And in my opinion, usually that comes when you are not able to also learn to give it to yourself, even as an adult being.
Right. So I definitely agree with that. It's not all roses and butterflies. I think what it is accepting our feelings and knowing that it's okay, because so many times people are like, oh, you're sad, you got to put on your happy pants and you got to do it. And if you don't, then you're, like, who are you? You're not loving. I think it's embracing that. I have my days when I just like want to sit in bed. I hurt my back recently, and, I haven't been able to do as much activist, but having that grace. What would I tell you? What would I tell you? What would I tell what would you tell someone else? And to show up for yourself that way. And it's okay if you want to sit in bed and pick your nose and be sad for that day, feel it out. And then tomorrow is not, because tomorrow's not promised. And we got to show up today.
Exactly. I love how you say that, It's about being able to sit with the uncomfortable as well and just accept it, allow it to be there. It's there anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's already there. And in life we need distractions. Sometimes it's those distractions that make us that much of a better person, because if everything was a smooth, clear path, we wouldn't learn anything. So we got to have some of those disruptions to understand how we need to show up and where we need to go with it.
Exactly. So that ties into the topic of duality and polarity that is here to help us see both sides on the coin and choose whatever we prefer whenever we prefer it, you know? So I love that take on that. Let's talk a little bit about your own definitions of awakening and health.
That's a great question, because you know what? So many people have so many different ideas. What I think the best thing about it is being open and knowing that we're all going to have a different way of viewing things. And that's okay, because so many times, like, no, it needs to be this, or oh, no, but then that's our control. And that's showing up of not being open to other things. So I think awakening is, to me, is finding what your joy is. Awakening is finding what makes you happy, not what makes your mom happy, what makes your dad happy, what makes everybody else. We tend to be those people pleasers because of how we grow up. But having that grace on our parents, having that, okay, that's all they knew, but changing the trajectory. Also showing up in that polarity of masculine and feminine. Sometimes I like tell my husband, gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like being so aggressive. Like I feel like this masculine polarity is coming out in me and I need to soften a little. So I think you can have both sides of that, but showing up that way for it.
Yeah. And health. What
Oh,
is
sorry.
health
I'm
to
gonna get that.
you?
So for health for me, is like I'm all about experiences, because what one person could say could be healthy for them may not be healthy for me. So I want someone to go on the health. It's your own journey. So to health to me is how you want to show up, how it makes you feel better. So in the morning, what I want to do, I want to put on my favorite song. I want to get out that energy. I want to make my phone call. I want to do this because that makes me feel good. Is that healthy? Yes. That's healthy to me. I can show up. I can be the most healthy I can. Is that healthy for someone else? Maybe not. So I think health is always so stereotypical that if you don't weigh a certain way, you don't eat a certain way. And no, I want someone to know that you do not have to follow the rules of what people say. You get to do you. So health to me is finding what's right for you and not what's right for everybody else.
I love so much that you have been answering this way the whole time because that what sits with me a lot is that you talk a lot about basically aligning with your heart. What is it
Mhm.
that your heart is telling you? What is the most loving thing that I can do right now to sit on the couch and throw my own pity party, but the best way that I can right now? And, you know, like,
Like it's that joy. It's so heart centered. And I think that's why we connected. We are so two peas in a pod. We were like twins separated at birth because we can celebrate
in the most weird ways.
in the most big ways, 100%. But that just shows like showing up authentically. We've never met each other, and the fact that we have so much in common is like my long lost sister, like from another mister, you know. But we're all about mind, body, and soul and heart. You and I are so heart centered, which I love, and that's what I want to give to someone is my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot. However, I'd rather wear it on the sleeve and show up that way than not.
I love that so much. So let's start a little bit with the density, playing with density, right? So let's speak about grief, because what we also spoke before, and this is something that I really wanted to discuss with you because I already had this sense like yes, there is something in which we resonate again, that is like grief is not only the loss of somebody that
Mhm,
has transitioned to the next plane, that
mhm.
has left their body to go on new adventures. It is
Right.
also about grieving maybe
The loss of
relationships
job.
that didn't come to fruition, kind
Mhm,
of, right?
mhm.
Other things that may seem lost, right?
Mhm.
So I
Right.
want you to speak about that, please.
Yeah, definitely. So I have experienced a lot of grief in death as well because I work with seniors and cancer patients. So that is something that I signed up for. Is it hard? Yes. Is that the only way that I grieve? No. I'm grieving the loss of a relationship. You can grieve the loss of losing a job, grieving the loss of a something that you thought was going to be there. So many times I think we just put grief in one box and then don't allow anybody to move outside of that box and think differently or show up differently for themselves. But with grief, it's all different and everybody experiences it differently and not one is more important than the others because so many times like, oh well, they've lost this many and they've done this, so you have to do. No, we are all hurting and it's okay. And we all hurt in a different way. And there's no right or wrong, but it shouldn't be categorized as a one thing, just as a transition to the next level.
Exactly. It's like it seems like we have been conditioned collectively
Mhm.
to think about death in a very detrimental way. And it's like, um, why? It's like we're going back home. Whenever we go back home, that means that we have accomplished whatever we came to do here. And that's
Right.
just a reason to celebrate and to say, oh my God, I did it.
Mhm.
I did everything that I promised to source, in the best way that I could. And now it's time to go on new ventures, but I'm never gone. Energy never dies. So I'll
Mhm.
be always with you in your heart. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's, yes, and it will hurt anyway. And
Like that's
my
normal.
gosh.
Like we want to, like that's normal. It's like if you didn't have a feeling and you could just like have that straight face, like I mean, nothing's normal here or there, who's to say what normal is, but you know what you understand more my concept of what it is. It's having those feelings and there's no right or wrong way. And how you want to grieve and how you want to show up is all different. But to accept that I'm okay, you're grieving different than me, there's no right and to be put that on someone. I think that's the worst is when you're so upset and hurt and you're grieving in your own way and someone's like, well, that's not that bad or they lost this and it's someone's decreting and they're not even listening and being present. So many times we're already thinking of the next thing to say to someone opposed to being present and actually listening like what they just said. Because if you have them replay back, what did I just say? You're like, oh gosh, I was thinking about what I was having for dinner and I was doing this and I was spiraling, and it's kind of spiraling of not being present.
Exactly. And really being open minded about, okay, so what is this person sharing right now? Like, how is this person opening their heart? It's
Mhm.
not honoring that openness of saying, and just putting it into a comparison and just trying to reply something. That's not really listening. That's just listening to reply, not
Yes.
active listening,
Yeah.
neither anything else.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
I
many times
love that.
and we want someone to show up and hear. And of course, you want to relate, but it may not be the time to relate. Let them tell the story, and then when they, and show up because we can hold that space too. And I think it's hard to hold that space for someone because we want to show up and do all these things, but we have to allow them to show up for themselves because then they'll never be able to if we keep showing up for them.
Exactly. That's the concept of empowerment, basically, right? You're not here to fix anybody or anything, nor yourself. Everybody is completely perfectly fine.
Exactly, right?
Sometimes we just need a little bit of space
Yeah.
to flourish. Oh my God. Yes, exactly, and it's like, yeah, so grief about other things, and these comparisons, that's really something. I think the Buddhists are the ones who I first heard saying that um, comparison is one of the key elements if you don't want to be satisfied in life ever. Something down those lines.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's society. Society that like a lot, like, grief is only in this one space. So then we think and like, no, that's what they said. And no, that's what, but then we're not, once again, not listening to what does your heart say? Our mind can think, we want to think that, but what is your heart truly? yearning for? What does your heart need?
Exactly. Yes. So now that we're already here, let's dive a little bit into seniors and cancer patients because I think working with seniors and cancer patients, death is not too far away, if you know what I mean. It's like ever present. Like I always say, I could go out on the street and in 3 minutes, pipapo and goodbye. That can happen to all of us all the time, basically. But
Mhm.
those are usually the moments that we tend to be more conscious or get more conscious about that. So, what are experiences that you have done that have changed you?
Yeah, definitely. So I love working with my senior and cancer patients, especially my seniors. I was called grandma growing up, so it was already like a part of my lifestyle. And my grandmothers have been the biggest influence on me, so that's why I'm here today. I have one grandmother who is 99, who is still out there, Nana Mimi in the house. And then I have my grandma Addie and grandma Sylvia. And they were all very strong women and all taught me something so different. But in this, I feel that this is what I asked for. This is what I show up. It is hard because you establish these relationships with them. You want so much for them. You see them strive. They are walking better because they worked out with you. They could play with their grandkids. They could show up for themselves because they couldn't, or they could have a voice that they never had before because they were only told one thing. So working with the seniors and the can and dealing with death too, it's taught me a lesson because so many times you want to show up and you want to help, but watching them show up for themselves is so beautiful because they couldn't. Like back in the day, there were so many things that these women, told me that they couldn't do because of their generation. But now they get to show up. Now they get to take care of themselves because a lot of times the older generations had to take care of the husband and or the wife or the kids, and they never could show up in talking about self-care. If we can't show up for ourselves, we're not going to show up for others. So the seniors have really taught me to show up for yourself, fight for what's good, and recently, and it's kind of sad, but at the same time made me feel good too, is knowing I've been to 3 celebrations of life in the past 2 months. But for someone who is 90, another lady, and all of them were so inspiring, and all of them, their family and people came up to me and said, "Thank you for giving them a quality of life. Thank you for showing up and treating them like human." Because so many times when they're older, we put them in a home and they're not there. And what can we learn from them? But we can be teachers and students together and show up. It doesn't matter what age. And that's why I feel that I'm that intergenerational ambassador because I can show up and you can learn from a 20-year-old as much as you can learn from a 99-year-old, but we pin it together. So I feel that I want to share that message that it doesn't matter what age. Age is only a number. It's your energy. It's your vibe. It's how and you want to show up. You're not changing you. There's not, for the new year, I hate it's new year, new year. No, I'm still Elena. I'm still here in the same body, but I can change my energy. That can change. I can change my vibe and I can show up differently, but I don't have to change who I am.
I love so much of what you just said. It's like exactly what is age, what is your nationality, what is, all of this kind of stuff, it's just about the story, but at the core, it's only your essence, your music.
Yeah, your vibe, like what you give, it's your story. I love when people can tell their story. That's my biggest thing is I want to hear your story. Where did you come from? Where did you get this motivation? Not like the surface level. When I ask someone how they're doing, I don't say like, "How are you?" I say, "How's your soul doing?" Because we are so surface level, like, "How are you?" "I'm good. I'm good. I'm really so good. Like, I'm fine." Like, no, you're not. You're suffering and you don't want to say it. That's fine. But if someone I think could connect deeper and says, "How's your soul doing?" Like, how are you truly dealing inside? Then someone could be like, wow, this isn't a generic thing. This someone truly care. Just, I mean, not saying like if you don't ask that, you don't care, but it's a deeper connection.
I love that. There is also this very amazing senior in my life, and I asked them also about the story. And the story was also, as you shared, filled with even more limitations, She, like, Back in the day, as a woman, you weren't allowed to do certain things without asking permission from your husband first and getting it like signed and all of that, you know?
Wow.
So it was basically like very, very different than it is today, you know? And this very special senior decided in her 80s to go to a psychologist again, once more, had
Yeah.
done it before,
Mhm.
but decided to go a step further and meet herself even on deeper levels at
Oh.
over 80 years old. And I, I just celebrated that so much, you know?
Mhm.
So,
And we don't
and
celebrate that enough. We don't celebrate them enough or that energy. We just, think, "Oh, they're just old." So I love that you say that to celebrate her.
yes, exactly. And, in general, celebrate when people want to improve something, to improve their relationship with themselves, to get to love themselves a little bit more, I think all of that is just a celebration of the new earth awakening.
Oh, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
Boom. You can't take us anywhere. If you saw us we've never even met, but if we were in person, oh my gosh, watch out. We're putting out the universe. It will happen.
It will.
Watch out, world. When that happens, it will
Our
happen.
partners are going to have a lot to do. Watch out. Oh God, I'm having so much fun. It's really difficult to do the interview. Oh my God.
Oh,
Wooza. So let's talk now about the young ones, the kids,
yes,
our future. You
yes.
work also with kids. So what are your experiences with the kids of today?
Well, the kids of today. Well, it's so funny because, okay, so, when our parents always said, like, back in the day, or like little things like that, I joke, back in the day, I'm so glad I didn't have a cell phone. Kids these days, I feel bad for them. I feel like they're really not kids anymore. They don't, growing up, making up fun plays, or how many times my dad put on Madonna Vogue for my sister and I, and we did dance videos, and, just truly being authentically a child. I feel now with the media, with so much, they have to grow up faster. They have to see things they didn't want to see, and they don't really get to be kids. You have to put on this like kind of different realm, and it's the popularity contest, and if you don't, then you're bullied, and that kills me because no one should feel like that. And working with the kids, I think I'm a safe spot. I think that's what's so hard is like a lot of my friends, their kids like, yeah, their moms are my age, but at the same time, I'm that auntie. I don't have kids. So I'm able to show up not as a mom, not as this. There's no judgment. And I want to be a safe space for these kids so that they don't have to turn to the media. They don't have to turn to feeling uncomfortable. I want to be that safe spot to show that they can have a voice too. And I'm not looking at it as like, oh, you're a little kid, like I don't like that. I get that too sometimes. I'm 44 years old, but sometimes like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart or honey or little." It's like, no, and then when you tell them their age, you're like, "Oh, you're that old?" Yeah, I am. Thank you. I've been around the block and 44 is adult. So there you go.
Yeah, so let's talk about seriousity and being taken seriously because one of the things that I realized one day was that if somebody wants to take you seriously, they just will. And
Mhm.
it doesn't matter how you say the things,
Mhm.
if you say it in this voice
Yeah.
or if you say it in any other voice, if somebody really genuinely loves you and
Mhm.
wants to really understand you, it doesn't matter how you say things. They will just understand and say, oh, okay, good. I didn't know you said things that way. Okay, let's talk about it or something, right? So,
Yes.
and we have as a society sometimes these belief systems around being taken seriously or showing up seriously. And it's like, why?
Mhm.
Like when I had my experiences, most of them were whether peace or just pure love or joy, and it was laughing around, with the ascended masters and angels and all of that. And everybody was being silly. You know what I mean? So it's like, why in the first place to like, why curiosity? Why does it exist? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
why is that important? You know what I mean? So what's your take on that now because of what you said, right?
Right, no, it definitely does, and it's not that I think it's like that control of what is that you want someone to respect you and honor you for you. It's not about the age, it's not about the number, and that's why I said people put such a thing on, yeah, taking it serious. We gotta be funny, we gotta laugh, but someone needs to be acknowledged. I think it's more about the acknowledgement. We wanna be acknowledged, and it's how you acknowledge. So
Yes, exactly. And respect also,
mhm.
right? And I
Yes,
mean, if somebody wants to respect you, they will respect you
right.
anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. And not to have the expectations, I so many times too, a big lesson is we all run things different, like how I'm gonna show up for you and vice you and I have so much, but, others, and not having that expectation because sometimes it's like, well, I would do that and you would think someone like common sense. I feel a lot of people do not have common sense. We have the book smart, but then there's no street common sense emotion. So many times we're expecting someone to show up the way, then we get disappointed, and then there's that resentment. We need to do it because we want to do it and how you want to show up because it's authentically, not because there's anything in return to realize that, but we have to realize not everybody's us.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So you show up however you want to show up, and others show up however they want to show up, consciously or unconsciously. But that has nothing to do with you at the end of the day.
Exactly. And so many times too, it's a lesson learned that I'm still learning is how someone treats you is not about you, it's about them. So many times we're like, why would they do it to me? Or even growing up, my mom, like learning things like, I love you, mom, but sometimes like, why is mom doing this to me? No, as I got older, mom would do it to sister and dad and my friend and this and that. That's who they are. And we have to accept who they are and learn from that. But we can't, have these expectations of someone to be like us because they're not. There's no one else like us. And that's what's so special about us is there's nobody who's like me besides me.
Exactly.
Only one of
Yes.
me.
Yeah, well, that's the journey of individuation, as they say, right? Get to be more of yourself.
Exactly. Than everybody else because society wants us to do this or have a partner or, even it's hard, talking about kids. Everybody, when I got married, it's going to be almost here. Are you having kids? And da, 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 and if you don't, and, da, 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 and you're older, and it's going to be geriatrics, and it's like, are you scared or am I scared? Like, what? Who are you in this for? It's like that projection where people, and it's like, oh, did I ask for that? No, unsolicited advice, all these things. Why is it when someone gets married or they get some, I can have kids, and it's like, hi, can you just say how are you doing?
Yeah, hi, good day, first of all. I think it was first Freud and then it was Carl Jung. And
Mhm.
both were like in the 60s already saying that perception is projection. But it seems to take a lot of time for humanity to really embrace these things, Like, yeah, it's knowledge, but it has not been put into action or
Mhm.
been
Yeah.
aware of too much so that you
Mhm.
can turn that into wisdom, into lived experience.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I think
yes,
people,
exactly.
yeah, there's no action, Sometimes it's like action speaks much louder than words. That's what my mom says to me a lot. Is like you can talk, 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 but unless you walk, 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 there's no talk. Or it's like too, somebody it's like sometimes the boy crying wolf, like I need help, I do this, and then like trusting them, you gotta show up and it's okay. And it's, I think the hardest thing too is asking for help. I think that's the biggest that, something that I wanted to talk about because it's hard. It is so hard to ask for help because we want to be independent and we want to do, but showing up and asking for that help or, hey, a friend, Can you promote this for me and not be afraid because we should be able to have hard conversations and we should be able to ask people in our lives to show up for us as well.
Yeah, exactly. And there is a lot of facets to that, like, for example, it depends on how we grew up. If we grew up in an environment that was constantly basically telling us that we were a burden, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, your clothes are too much. Now I need to wash them. And it's a lot of work for me, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So if you
Yeah.
grow up like this, it's difficult for you later on to be able to accept help,
Mhm.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's about relearning that, and getting away from that belief system, kind of, right?
Yes, 100%. Because it is hard to get away from it, but we can get away from it. And it's the small steps because we think we have to change us and make these big steps. It's the little things that help, It's a little baby step of like, okay, I'm going to ask this person this one time and then you can show up, differently because yeah, we're all raised differently, but it's changing that ancestral pattern. I want to break that pattern. I want to break what happened with my mom and have more compassion because that's all her mom knew and that's all they knew, but we have a choice, and my mom always says that too. Another thing from Deb, she always says, "You have a choice in how you choose to show up." And no one, And so I think people have that choice even though we come from different backgrounds, I was raised this way and that's all I know and la la la, and then they get this anger and it's like, no, that's great that you were raised that way. And I hear you and you had that experience, but you can change that experience and you can show up and be like, take care of your little self. I can take care of little Lena now. 10 years ago, would I be in this spot? Probably not. But now I awaken. Now I know what my joy is. Now I know what is me and what my feelings are that and learning to discern, as I said, I pick up on so many other people's feelings. I could have a great day and then go out and come back, and my husband's like, "What's wrong with you? Like, your energy's down." Oh, I just picked up on 10 other people. Let me cleanse myself and come back to you.
Exactly. Yes, that's really like hygiene, It's
Mhm.
like you come back from the outside, you wash your hands, maybe like normally, right? There are people who do other things as well, and so you can cleanse your aura or whatever it is that you want to do so that you come back to yourself. Exactly. So
My
there is
Palo
already Palo Santo. Yeah, exactly. For example, so there is already right there the first tool that you just shared with the audience. So is there some other tool that you can share right now for empaths?
Mhm. Definitely. I think with that is finding other empaths and being able to, say and not even have to talk about like, oh, I had the day, like, oh, did you pick up on like Sally's energy? Da, da, da," and just not even having to explain. So first of all, it's finding like-minded people who get you and who show up and you don't have to explain yourself. Another thing is what I love to do is self-care. So I love to get my nails and hair done. Nails, I just got the hair done. Showing up for myself that way, it's not like a material, I'm not trying to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I love it. I feel like a new woman. I feel re-energized. I feel that I can go out with that confidence. And that's another thing is I get to do it for myself. I'm not doing it for anybody else. No one else is getting their nails done for me, their hair done and things. I get to do that for myself and feel so good. Another thing I love to do is, as I said, gonna say it out loud. I love to dance naked and put on one of my favorite songs and just release that energy. I always said when I met my husband, I'm a wild person. I love to do full moon ceremonies, like a dancing under and expressing ourselves. Putting on music reminds me of back in the day when I danced with my sister and my dad. And, having that energy brings those memories back to joy. And I think we don't live in enough joy. We don't show up for because we don't feel that we deserve it. Oh, like, or I think it triggers people. My job isn't on a 9 to 5 and sit here and do. And when I like, what are you doing today? Today I decided to take a little break or, oh my gosh, like you're not such a, it's like that. Then they're living in fear because they can't. I want to show to someone I'm living my joy. Also with human design, I'm a 4-1 generator. And so, boom, I'm always going, going, do. And I'm that energizer bunny. But at the same time, I'm living my joy. That's what I'm showing people is that I can show up for myself and be happy. I mean, sometimes, do you let it get in your yeah, it gets in one ear, you gotta leave and goes out the other. But it's just showing up as what you said is learning that. Like old Elena would have probably cried, or old Elena, I take it so personally. And I have my moments. Of course. Is every day good? No. Do I always talk nicely to myself? No. But I can acknowledge that and know where I need to show up more.
Totally get it. It's like at the end of the day, everybody is healing. We're all here to heal further and further and further. So basically, love the out of ourselves.
Yes. Yes, let the beep out of ourselves.
It's due to beep. Yeah. So now let's dive a little bit
Mhm.
into the topic of not being understood.
Mm.
Because there are a lot of people out there, who watch this podcast and podcasts like this, who are empaths, highly sensitive souls, also star seeds, however we identify,
I
seekers.
I I'm in all of that, just like you. You and I are in that category of 5,000 different names, but they all mean the same thing. However,
Exactly. So the common theme is always not being understood. So how did that one show up in your life? What did you learn? And
mhm,
how do you own that?
right. So at first I thought it was a burden. I always thought like, oh gosh, because I was different, it was like, what's wrong with me a little bit? Like, how come no one else is? But then once I started telling my story and showing up and finding my community and finding my family, I fucking felt normal. Like, I felt normal. Like, I found my tribe. Like, just finding these people, like, oh my God, you do that too? Like, oh, I'm not the only one. And we're not alone. I think we're so afraid to tell that story because we're the different ones, or you're the odd man out, or you're the ugly duckling, or whatever you want to call it or say. But in reality, I'm the freaking bomb. Like, I feel like I'm so proud that I feel this way. And, learning it, embracing these gifts, I can cry, I can show up, I can tell how my emotions are, I can express very well. And a lot of people have come to me like, gosh, I wish I could express like you. That is so beautiful. So now it's my gift. Like, I'm so proud. I am so proud that I can cry. I'm so proud that I can honor my emotions and show up that way and say how I'm feeling. Because I think that triggers, like, people are going to know, like, if you store it, and then we store those emotions. And that's why we get sick. That's why all these things are showing up because we're so afraid to use our voice. We're so afraid that someone's going to say, or your 2 cents. What it is, it's that projection. People wish they could cry like me. People wish they were sensitive like me, but they don't want to say it out loud. So I'm here to teach that it's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to have these feelings. And if you ever want to talk, I'm here. I'm like you. I'm your weirdo as well. We all have a little weirdo. I'd rather be weird than like totally just black and white.
Yeah,
So,
I think that comes with these words like normal and be serious, and also this definition of being an adult, it's like, let's be honest, what do we as a society associate with this word adult?
mhm.
Usually, when you say adult, there is no joy
Huh?
intended to be there.
Yeah.
Like, and you're supposed to be super structured, organized all the time, left side, masculine.
Yes.
Where is the creativity? Where is the dance? You know what I mean? Where
Yes.
is all of that? So for me, adult, and this is my own definition, I want to hear yours afterwards. For me, being an adult is more about how much shadow work have you done? Are you like, do you have your beep together that you are able to just hold space, when somebody says something, you don't react, you just look at it, and then you choose if you want to even act upon it or not. Basically, having this awareness, this consciousness, and presence, of not being reactive, like this kind of stuff is what I personally define as adult.
Did you just take the definition out of my head?
I just took some notes.
Well, words are coming out of my mouth. I feel the same. I feel like there's no like this is what an adult conversation is. This is showing up, being vulnerable and wearing our heart on our sleeve, but in a very positive way of showing like, yeah, this is us. This is raw. This is real. There's no like editing of what it is. This is our truth coming out of our voice. So I think being an adult is having adult conversations, having hard conversations, showing up for ourselves, asking our needs. And there's always learning. I'm always growing. There's never, like, oh, you went to therapy, you're done, or oh, you did this. Every day I'm learning something. It's what I want to put into it. And being an adult is accepting that and knowing that. And also change. We freak out like, oh my God, it's been this one way. And then something comes in and change freaks out, especially elders. Like, oh, bless their hearts, they hate change because they're not used to it. They were always told very black and white. And now they're in this generation of change and exploring and so many things. They freak out like, oh my gosh. And it doesn't have to be like that.
I love that too, with the change and all of that thing, It's like, yes, the thing is like when we stay focused on this is just this and this and this, we cannot expand as much,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So I love that you took that too into adulthood because yes, exactly. It's about growing and like having this and mentality. This
Yes.
and that can
Mhm.
be true at the same time. Yeah, it may
Yes.
seem opposites, but they can coexist. Can they coexist in your mind as well?
Opposites attract. you know?
Exactly. And also, you also said about having like these conversations that can be sometimes hard, and like you are married, so you have a relationship with a person you live with.
Right.
So those are the places where this shows up a lot, in partnerships, in relationships. It's like, are you playing a part? Are you aware, in this relationship? Are you aware that you attracted this person into your life so that both of you get to grow
Heal.
even further? Which automatically means that you're going to have things that you need to look into
Yes.
and see if there is alignment or not, right? So
100%.
tell
Yeah.
me about that.
Well, when I met my husband, right away, I said, I'm not going to be your Sally homemaker. If you are looking for the role play of the woman to wash your clothes and have your dinner and show up and whatever you want, honey, that's not me. I said, I hate cooking. I'm great at many other lanes. I dress crazy. I love my moons. I love my stuff. And this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for. I want to have an option of this. I've been around the block. I would like to get married and have that option. And he's like, all right, I'm in. But so many times we say what they want to hear and show up because we want something and because society says that. And I don't work that way. I work in a whole nother realm of I want us to work together and show up together. And exactly how he was raised and how I was like, sometimes I was like, sorry, babe, that's how I was raised. So that's all I see. So you need to teach me where you're coming from and understand like this is all I know, but I'm ready to learn because so many times we come in with our own way and not wanting. So then it's like these fights. Of course we fight. I mean, we're no Ken and Barbie. We're not perfect. And who is? Like,
Yeah.
but in reality, it's showing up and being honest and authentic. He knew what he was getting into from day one. There wasn't like, oh, babe, that was fake. Here I am now, which happens so many times because we're not authentic. We want someone to like us. We want this relationship to work. So we're going to put and say what we want that's not real. That's not authentic. And it's not what we want. It's what society wants. So my husband is fabulous. We're still learning. We haven't even been married a year. So I'm still, you learn something new all the time. The more there was something I was watching, it was saying, like, "I've been married 50 years, and I just found out something new again." And it's like you are always evolving, and you're always growing, and I think that's what it is. There's no right or wrong way, it's what lane you wanna be, but stay in your lane, because so many times when we don't stay in our lane, that's when the chaos happens.
Exactly. And, like, also like having this awareness to being able to say, hey, this is how I was raised. This is the belief system that's created around that.
Right.
And so I need to understand what is your background, your belief system, and then
Yeah.
we can see how we want to move forward now, right?
Yes. And not how they move or that this and what I love about being in partnership, like, it's mine and my husband's name is, Tony, or I call him Anthony. It's our relationships. It's how we want it. It's not how Deb and Rob, that's my parents, how they did it. It's not how this person does it. We get to create our life, our rules, how we wanna show up, and no one else. It's our unit now. And that's what's special about it, is that it's our unit now, no one else's, and we get to, what you said, decide how we choose to show up.
Exactly. I love that. For me in my relationship, one of the things also that pops up a lot is alignment over attachment. It's like I'm not going to put myself on fire so that you have it warm and leave myself burning. It's like,
Yeah.
hello.
No, you're not gonna put your fire to, like, the stake. You're not gonna do that.
Exactly.
And so many times we think we're gonna be aligned, and then it's not, and that's okay. And I think, you and I have talked about, if it doesn't align, it doesn't mean that you 2 are bad people, or it just may not be that you're meant to be together. You can love someone from afar, you could still have that and know that it's not. But we tend to say, like, "Oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. It didn't work. There's something." No, it's just you didn't connect, and that's okay. You weren't aligned to be together in that type of relationship.
Exactly. Or you just needed to learn something in that relationship and move on
Yes.
to new
Right.
shores.
Bye, Felicia.
Exactly. Relationships are really a very amazing topic
Oh, yeah.
because that's where we have the chance to grow the most.
Right. Or I joke sometimes, I say to some of my friends, all the husbands and partners live in one house, and then all the women live next door, and then when we need you, then we can pop over there, because I would love to live with my besties.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Obviously, that's just a joke, but it's
Yeah,
a
they're
fun
not
one.
100% joke, they're fun jokes, but, we joke, because we're all going through it together. It's just being funny, and being able to laugh about it. I think that's, and having not so serious, like, "I'm struggling with my husband." You're like, "Oh, I am too." So we could joke about it and show up, opposed to being like bashing, bashing, bashing. You can vent, get it out, and then move forward.
Exactly. If the
So,
alignment is still there.
exactly.
Oh my God. This has been a blast.
Oh my god.
So let me ask you
Yes.
the last famous question, which is dum, 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 what is your highest vision for this new earth that we are co creating right now?
My highest vision is that people can love and show love and come from the mind, body, and soul. I want them to love from their soul, not surface, and to know that they're not alone, and that no matter what, reach out. I'm here, and never be afraid. There's nothing that you can't say, that there's no judgment. I think so many times, like, I want the world to stop judging you and judging yourself, and know that there is a community, there is a group out there, and you're not alone, even if it's one person. Quality over quantity.
Thank you
Boom.
so much. Mic drop.
Literally.
Woo!
Woo! Mama
So,
love.
yeah, that's also nice. I like it. We will be posting your links below for all people who want to find out more about you and connect with you. It's been a blast to have you here. Thank you very much for joining today.
Thank you so much. I love you. I feel so honored. Like, you're magical.